one teacher I like, Stephen Harrison, who has said that you can't get rid of yourself, and in a sense I see that I can't get rid of selfless self. Well, you are, again, selfless self is the label that's been placed on you. You know, they can say I am or spontaneous presence or any of these things. Selfless self is a label that's been placed on you, again, because at the time you believe yourself to be a body that requires labels in order to relate to how it relates to the body you're believing yourself to be, that you are not. The true you can never get rid of because it's you. All the things that have been added to you that you are not can easily be gotten rid of. And mantra is the key to do this. I think Maharaj says, where all experience ends, there you are. Accept your selfless self. There's no God, no Brahman, no Paramatman, no Master. Nothing is there. All the somethings that you can perceive are nothing. Just you.
Did you say that all the some things that you can perceive are nothing but you?
Well, it is you. All the somethings that you can perceive are appearing on your spontaneous presence, arising from nothing.
Mm-hmm.
They'll all return back to nothing. Everything you can perceive, everything through the senses and all this, because the I am is required to get body to have senses and all this information and body, ego, mind, intellect. So the nothing, all the things that you can perceive are the something arising in the nothing. Arising in your spontaneous presence. Even the sense of presence is something. And that's why when you're talking about consciousness, consciousness appeared to you. Because in order for consciousness to appear, there had to be something there prior to consciousness, and that would be you.
That's the knower, correct?
Prior to beingness and after leaving the body. That's the knowingness, the knowledge, the formless knowledge. With nothing to know other than itself, so when there's nothing to know, then there's no knower, no knowledge. A potential knower, but with nothing to know. Like in deep sleep, the I am goes into quietude, there's nothing to know. It's objectless knowledge. Until you were, I guess, a baby and you were able to see I'm an object related to other objects, that's when subject-object knowledge came in. Whoop, hold on. Let's see. Nisargadatta has said the wisest thing you can say is I don't know. Yeah, I mean, because you're not using anything to have any perspective from, so there couldn't be a perspective of any kind. If there's something to know, then there's someone who knows it. There's a position being taken that I know this related to who I believe myself to be, that I am not. So the space can't know anything. The space doesn't even know the objects in the space. Only someone perceiving objects in space can know that there's both space and objects. And the space perceives itself through the objects in the space, meaning you. These little limited forms are being, what is this? Oh, sorry. My internet popped up and I don't know what it said. But every positive spiritual experience is adding something on. There has to be something that is experiencing these experiences, rather than the dissolving of something that was noticed using form formlessly. You know, if there's a bunch of things if you have on a table 6 objects and you start removing them, you're noticing their absence. Although it's creating more space from the perspective of the other objects that are remaining. Once they are gone, you don't notice them. Exactly. And only if you believe yourself to be an object in perceiving in relation to the objects that are in the space can you notice their absence is enlarging the space. But the space was always there. You know, you could say, okay, there's 6 bottles on a table, and it looks like there's a very limited space between these bottles. But that's not true. The space is everywhere. These bottles are inside of that space. And when you remove them, their absence is noticed only from the position of, I'm here noticing that these bottles, one has been removed. But the space itself isn't noticing what's coming and going inside of it. I think that's when Maharaj says, you know, if the walls come down, does the bathroom sky go to hell and the ashram sky go to heaven? Space is space, sky is sky. Space doesn't know it's space, sky doesn't know it's sky. Objects appear inside the space and can only be perceived from the point of view of another object. Oh, he said, come on, Trish, isn't that funny?
Andrew thinks it's funny.
No, I was laughing at Keith's comment.
Right.
So basically what's, like the something that's perceiving something else, neither are true. So from the perspective of space, it's just nothing there.
Yes.
So it's like a big delete of the whole thing.
Yes. Dissolving.
Dissolving, right.
Yes. Because you can't just say, okay, there were bottles there and then whoop, there's nothing. Because it's kind of, okay, these things that I've been seeing and this way of seeing is dissolving, 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 dissolving. All these different, like Siddhar Rameshwar Maharaj talks about, these different bodies. The subtle body is dissolving. The grosser body is dissolving. Everything's just dissolving, dissolving, dissolving. And all of these were just added on and are not needed. And if this body were to fall in this moment, there's no knowing of this. And the space wouldn't even perceive the absence of the object that was in it, because again, the only reason the space is perceiving anything is using one of the objects that's in itself.